So, let's finally begin to talk about the things that I've been wanting to talk about. For how long have I had this channel? For the course of 3 years now. And I've been talking more about the Philippines and the Philippines little lovely ladies and getting all upset with a country that I ain't never been to yet, because it seems like the fornication out there is way more than 50 states. Okay, here in the U.S. Like, my God, like, you know, all these old men, and then they get on there and they show these videos of how retarded they act and how these men just go into like Manila where all these women are standing around. I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between a prostitute and a woman who gets all dressed up to stand on corners and just let some guy, because he's American or Canadian or something, grab her and take her somewhere. I'm like, you know, what is the difference? You go to a bar and you meet a girl. You don't know if she's a prostitute or what she is. Usually you go meet a girl if she's easy to talk to, if she's easy to take home with you. You find out when you dismiss her the next day, you find out that she's a slut. So, okay, and what did you do? You took her out. You spent a lot of money on her as far as food, wining and dining her and all like that. And, you know. And meanwhile, the problem with a place like the Philippines, and I'm closing on this segment of it. The problem with a place like the Philippines that I see that happens, you know, and I gotta I have to admit, it's not just because they're not showing you the provinces in the Philippines. They're not showing you girls standing around in skimpy clothes and all like that in the province. They're not showing you those sights. Women in the provinces, they dress different, they act different. A lot of them have their own tribal names and languages and stuff like that, and these women are willing to, you know, get married and all like that, real quick a lot of times, and you know. But my biggest problem is with the Philippines as far as the whole passport bros movement and just American men going over there with women on their mind, period. And you know, and that's mainly what it's all about. And they know that these women get ran through. Now here in America, they do it too. A lot of women will. The only difference is the women in the Philippines now, it's part of their culture. Where in America, we have more various cultures, but the average culture in the Philippines is fornication. You can, from what I understand, if you look a certain way, if you're a certain age, and I'm not talking about some jock, I'm talking about an old white fart. If you look a certain way, you're so many feet tall, and you got money in your pocket, you can get off the plane and sleep with some exotic Filipina. Okay? And you know the difference when somebody just says stuff and when they can't believe that this happened. Like, I actually did it. It happened. You know, and I hate to think that a lot of men are only in the Philippines because they think that I hate to think that a lot of men are only in the Philippines because of the women. Because they're constantly having these sexual, you know, spontaneous sexual relationships with women, and while they're waiting to get married or whatever, you know, and have that girlfriend, they're having a lot of sex before. So, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is pray. And when I go to the Philippines, I agree with one YouTuber. I'm not going to go there to look for women. And even if I did, I'd probably hurt myself because I'm not the right height. I ain't white, and I'm probably going to have less money to blow than some of the white guys that go out there. But I just thought that I'd mention that because I've been making videos on that. Like I said, these girls get ran through. Meanwhile, nice guys like me, by the time I get out there and meet this beautiful lady, because the Philippines is a little bit of a smaller place than America. Well, I think America is about as big as the whole continent of Asia, or I forget if it's slightly smaller or slightly bigger in general, but either way, we have more options and cultures out here, more different cultures. There's different types of Spanish cultures, different types of Asian cultures. Everybody's not the same, but out there, it's like you have the city life, you have the nightlife, you have the wild city life. Okay. And a lot of women, especially women that are into foreigners, are having a lot of sex with a lot of different men. It's kind of nasty. It really is. When you think about it, they're having a lot of sex with a lot of different men, and a lot of men go out there with good intentions, and then they go out there and they meet a girl and they say, "Screw them good intentions." You know what I mean? Who am I sleeping with next? And then you got, the fact that the Philippines is a third world, and so it looks bad for a man to go to the Philippines and go to a third world to get coochie. Okay? And use his money to do it. Now, it would be bad if these women were just like slaves giving this up. I got to admit, you got to charge a man. A man got to give you something, but the idea that men can go out there with money that beats the cost of living, and then women think you just got money because you were able to show up. You showed up here, you're an American, you got money. And they'll sleep with you before they find out how much money you actually have. And the dumb thing about men and money and women and men's money is that just because a man has money, that doesn't mean it's all going to go to her. He's going to spend everything on her. I know I ain't. Just because a man has money, that doesn't mean he wants to share. He might want to share his bedroom with you. That don't mean he want to share his money with you. That money was only for when you offer him the coochie. See, again, prostitution. But that's not what this video is about. I just said that because I made all these videos about the Filipina P, and some of them I'm embarrassed about because it really ain't my business. Okay, it's what they do, and it's between them and these white men that are coming there. You know what I'm saying? If I ever show up there, I'm a Christian, and I don't do it there just like I don't do it here in America. I'm not going to do it there just because it's easier. No, I don't try to do it here. So I ain't going to do it there, even if it is easier. I just, And I'm shocked at how some people, don't realize I'm up there in age. I'll be 60 pretty soon. A lot of people don't realize that. They think I'm trying to hang. I ain't trying to hang out with nobody. I'm an old fart, or on my way to be an old fart, whichever one it is. I'm a couple years shy of being an old fart. And I'm not trying to be an old nasty fart. I want to be an old Christian fart, okay? But I thought I would mention that because all my videos have been about women and men and the sexual revolution in the Philippines, and how, I agree with them, as you've seen in some of the videos, but when it comes to, like, the sex trade, so to speak, I don't agree with them. And these men have gotten jailed. Some of these men that went to the Philippines are in jail because They got so into the exotic Filipina stuff and the fantasies of having spontaneous, never-ending sex with various women that they slept with somebody's little baby girl. Didn't know she was, under 18, under 17, okay, under 16. She lied about her age. You thought she was at least 18. She might have been 13. And she played you good. She got your money and she put you in jail. Now you can't leave the Philippines, but unless you I mean, in these jails here, here in America, at least back in the day, I don't know about now, I don't know if things have changed or not, but men are having sex with other men in prison. Now, in the Philippines, you gotta lay around with all this oily, stinky, sweaty guys. Have you ever seen a picture of how they treat you in prison in them places, especially the prisons, the most popular prisons, okay? Men just laying on each other with the funky cells, and they hardly got no clothes on, because it's so hot in there. They don't give you air conditioning. It ain't like these jails here it ain't like these detention centers that we have here in America. No, these are jails. And the more men that commit crime for various reasons, the more men, and then we have jails and prisons and penitentiaries here. They only got prisons there. Okay, so a guy that might have done something simple like, practicing evil with his credit card might be in the cell with a rapist, a murderer. And if you don't like his funky feet, and if you don't like him sweating on you and stinking on you, he might just choke you to death, with his fat self. Who knows? And I was just watching this video earlier about this brother who was talking about that, and it's just, But the reason why I mentioned that is because I've been on all these videos up to this point about that. This week I lost my job. And to get to it, I lost my job this week, and so, I'm stuck in the house, can't go nowhere. And until somebody gives me a job, ain't no sense in me leaving the house. I'm online, I'm looking for jobs, and I'm learning something while I'm doing this. The people on the other end of the screen are making money. And there's people on the other end of the screen that are lying to me about job offers. And one of the things that I hate about looking for jobs online is like third-party cookies, and people put their sites online and they don't block interrupters. They don't block the people that are going to snag their content. I remember when I first moved back here to Pittsburgh, the first security job I was applying for, I applied for one job, and don't get me wrong, the job was a blessing. I worked that job for like 4 years. But when I got the job, it wasn't who I had actually applied for. Okay? It was someone who, whenever I apply for a job with them, they never answer the phone. I always get put on hold. Nobody answers the phone. No one views my application and lets me know anything. Now they finally want to come piggybacking off of somebody else, another security company that I know more about. They want to come and offered me a job. And I said, well, I didn't really apply for you. But, okay, I'll fill out the application. And I instantly got a job, by the end of the week. I was instantly, by the end of the week, I was had my orientation, background check, uniforms, watched the video, watched a self-awareness video and a policy video, peed in a cup, had my blood checked, and all that stuff within less than a week. And by the weekend, I was on the job. Okay? But the other company that I applied for and I put in my resume, these people hired me without even looking at my resume. And somehow I applied for these guys, but these guys called me into work. And I asked the guy, I told him, I says, hey, I did not apply for you guys. I applied for the other guys. He says, well, we might be on the same database. Well, see, that's dumb. Why do you do that? But anyway, everything is done online today. Okay? You cannot tell me also things like, don't tell me the bus companies, when it comes to more corporate people that can spend the money, you cannot tell me that the bus companies are losing dollars to Uber and Lyft, because there are people who make enough money and have become fed up with the nasty conditions of riding the buses, standing out in the cold waiting. Okay, buses don't show up sometime, getting stranded downtown at night, and all the stuff that's happened to me many, many, many times. And one of the things I learned when I moved here to Pittsburgh is always keep enough money in your account in case you have to get an Uber or a Lyft, because this new Pittsburgh bus, since they changed their name over the last 8 years, well, just 4 years ago, just less than 4 years ago, they changed their name from Port Authority to Pittsburgh Transit. When they did that, before Pittsburgh Transit was really a popular name, they was being called both when they first started. Ever since the leaders of Port Authority moved out, if you miss your bus, they're not going to send another one after you. They're going to just move to the next bus. A woman could be raped by that time and dragged behind the wall and raped. Somebody could be shot. Two people can get an argument at a bus stop and get to fighting and shooting. Somebody see you out there by yourself because you missed your bus. This is Pittsburgh. It happened to me. I got mugged in 21 on my way to the bus stop. I was about probably 300 feet from the bus stop. In that little dark spot right there, I walked through there and I felt a hit to the back of my head, and boom, I was being mugged by 3 high school boys. Okay? And Pittsburgh is known for constant teenage crime all through the city of Pittsburgh. Sometimes kids can't even make it home from school before something happens. They get in a fight with somebody or whatever. It's just one of them things that I hate about Pittsburgh. I hate coming back here to. I knew this was going on when I was a kid. Going to church in the homeless section of Pittsburgh. Okay? Gangs of kids trying to, that ain't being raised right, that are struggling, their parents are struggling to keep ends meet and struggling to feed them and all like that. They go out there and join a gang, and they're just attacking everybody, and it's not like they leave their crime to where they grow up at. No, they get on buses and subways They get on buses and trains and go to people's different neighborhoods where there are many different types of people, and they beat people, mug people, pick fights with people, rape people, shoot people, stab people, and rob people. You know. Now, you can be robbed and raped in your own home if you don't have a brain. And if you are too comfortable in your own home. You know. You want to intimidate, thug world that's right next door to you or right across the street from you. Always be coming outside your house looking around, sniffing. Look around. Look your neighbor dead in the face. Hey, what you doing? Somebody on the porch next to you and you don't know, you think you know who lives over there? Go outside on the porch and say, what's up, man? There was a guy that used to come here. He ain't my neighbor. He ain't here to see me. He ain't here to see the guy that lives next to me. He lives upstairs. He would come down here and smoke. And, one day he was down in the laundromat room, cussing to himself. And I went down there and I said, brother, I almost called the cops on you. I didn't know it was you. But you making people afraid to come down here. He said, he got all punctured with it. I said, hey. He said, it's all right, I'm just praying. I said, praying? Okay, dude, I almost called the cops on you and told them there was some crazy man down in my basement. Like, you might want to calm that down a little bit. We can hear you upstairs, And I was afraid he'd go ape on me with his crazy self because he looked like he got some, But I had to tell him. I had to tell him. But he finally left, and then his family left shortly after he left. His mom finally, I think his dad divorced mom, or mom divorced dad because of his behavior and his attitude, and all the times, she either left the house or kicked him out of the house. And now, I think the son was on his way to college, and I think the son, I think somebody else lives there now, a different African family, not that one. I got a chance before they moved out to talk to the young man, the kid that was in high school playing soccer. Good kid, good African kid, very nice kid, nothing like his father and nothing like his quiet, super quiet, isolated mother. A total, he's coming up in an American high school that's mixed, which is good for him. And he's learning. He's learning that all black folks ain't alike, all African folks ain't alike, all white folks ain't alike, all Jamaicans ain't alike, all Haitians ain't alike. He's learning this. All Indians ain't alike. Some people got really nice attitudes that are very American. But this is what I want to talk to you about. Because this is what I'm doing right now. Imagine you don't have to leave your house. You can get robbed in your house if you ain't careful. Somebody could break in your house. But just imagine if you hardly ever leave your house. Okay? And you're in your house working, making money. And I'm not talking about making money in a way where you got merchandise all over your house and people know and see merchandise going in your house. That's one of the things that gets people's houses broken into and people come in there and rob them. It's because they see what's in your house before it gets in your house. You got people standing around. You might not want too many moving trucks. You might not want too many Walmart trucks. Rent-a-center trucks and all like that coming in front of your house. Especially depending on what kind of neighborhood you live in. If you're always filling your house up with furniture and merchandise and all like that. I mean, I've been in neighborhoods where every time somebody moved in my house, there's a whole gang of people out there watching it like it was a goddamn parade. They're just standing there like, oh, what are you doing? Okay? This one girl across the street had this boyfriend that was so ghetto. She brought him, he must have been from Braddock or something. But, you know, he come up here to see her, and he wasn't in her league. He was a ghetto boy. You could tell he was ghetto. And I'm standing there taking my food out of the car. And I had to go up the steps. I had a lot of groceries, so I look behind me, and he's standing there looking at my open trunk. I mean, he stood there staring at my trunk being open the whole time. And I knew better than to just go in the house. No, I took the food up, put it on the porch, and I come out, and he's still standing there looking. She trying to talk to him about something romantic. He's staring at my groceries, staring at my open trunk like he'll be back to rob somebody. So when I went back down to the bottom of the steps to my trunk, I just looked at him for a minute like, what you looking at? That's what you got to do. I looked at him like, am I missing something? What's going on? And he finally stopped looking because he knows. Oh, you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. Like, don't make me nervous. Don't make me go in my house and pull out my 9 and have it sitting there in case you try something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I just went down there like, am I missing something? You ain't never seen a brother, you know, go to Walmart and bring back $100 and some worth of groceries? What's going on, bro? We do it every day. What's up? You know. But, you know, you got to be careful because you have people like that are in your proximity. And if you live in a rinky-dink apartment like this one I live in, don't be packing a whole bunch of stuff. And I ain't got no room in here. I done bought all these Bibles. I ain't got a bookshelf for them. My bookshelf's overcrowded. I got no place for my books over there. And I'm starting to just sit stuff everywhere. You know, but I don't have anything in here worth stealing except my guitars. Okay? That guitar right behind me that you never see on video. You see it went on my music channel a lot, but you don't see it on these other videos because it's always right there. You only see the headstock, but you see the headstock. See the headstock right there? That's my baby. That is the best guitar I've ever owned. And that's the only thing. When I come home, I'll look for that guitar. Like, that guitar better be sitting where I put it and how I left it when I get home. But everything else, there's nothing in here that anybody wants to steal. My TV's half broke. I don't even use it. I watch everything on YouTube. Oh, my laptops. I have a pad. I have, I think, 2 laptops. Of course, they don't know my one laptop needs to be fixed. This one here is fairly new. But, you know, like the stupid watch it has a white band. Don't nobody want to steal this. My phone, they might steal that. People steal that. These kids steal that. They steal phones, laptops, and if they're real smart, they might steal my guitar, my baby. My white mama, I call it, over there. They might steal that. But my point is, hopefully Trump will change some things and calm some things down. Because for the 4 years that Sleepy Joe has been in office, okay, we have been under attack. Everybody's had to deal with some BS. I mean, you can't live nowhere, you can't move nowhere, you can't be outside, you can't be inside. You know, people trying to take you home, people trying to come and claim you don't live there. They trying to, you know, these migrants, I hate to bring them up, they were running people out of their homes, especially apartment complexes and stuff. You know, it's in a place like Carolina. Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God, you know. But imagine if you did not have to leave home. And you used the one thing in your house. I'm just asking anyone that's been like me all their life to think. Now here we go. Just imagine if you did not have to leave your home to make money. And just imagine if you didn't have to leave home. Now, everything, if you really, really, really want to go above, people that work in the workplace, people that work regular rinky-dink jobs, people that work doing service jobs for companies, and the company is the building that they're working in. Now, when you work for a company and you're working at another place, but the company is somewhere else, and you're just moving around for the company, and everybody that can fire you, everybody that can get on your nerves actually is over there at the headquarters, but you're just moving all over the place for this company. Okay? That's more, of a relaxed position of working. But when you work every day, okay, for a company, you're going into somebody's house and you're working in the house and around the outside perimeter of that property. It's almost like slavery. It is slavery in most cases. Because you go to work and your managers can take a vacation every time they want to. They don't have to punch in on a clock. Okay? And when they do something wrong, they're already at the top. Who's going to sit them down at HR? In order for your manager to get fired, a bunch of other managers and other people have to come together and do a vote and have a meeting about you. Okay, and then they have to get so many people. They have to make a revolt against you. And then they'll ask you to step down. And usually they don't fire you, they ask you to step down. Okay? They asked me to step down. I said, "Are you firing me?" They said, "No, we're asking you to step down." I said, "That's the same thing." So I lost my job. And I'm online and I'm finding out that there's people trying to get my information for other reasons while I'm trying to find a daggone job before everything's out and and there's these people and they're all online. It's all online trying to get my information and make it about them instead of about me. They're trying to make it about them and what they're doing. They don't really care about the company that I'm applying for. They don't really care if my resume gets to them or not. They're too busy trying to make their ratings. And what really ticks me off, I don't know if you ever got this, and I think you can control this with your Google or whatever. You can block these people. But what I hate is when, in all these job sites, you got to make the internet more secure than this. Because it's not fair to me to go to a job site and apply for a job on their job site, and somebody is peeking in, and they immediately start sending me 100 emails. Okay? They should not even be able, my information should be safe between me and the job that I'm applying for. This is the third time this has happened to me. The last 3 jobs I've had to go through this. And while I'm applying for one job, somebody else's You know, and it's one thing if, like, okay, I'll send a resume to both of y'all. But what the problem is, what I really hate though, is when somebody spies in on me applying for another job online. And when I say job online, I'm not even talking about an online job. I'm talking about a job, because everybody today does not use, everybody's paperless today. Your resume is paperless. The company you're working for, the application is paperless. So, you know, you go to PA Career Links here in Pittsburgh, okay, or Career Links wherever you're living, okay, it's paperless. I went down there the other day just to renew my subscription, okay. I walked out, now I have it downloaded on my computer. I can look for jobs all day and connect with other places and et cetera, until I find something. The thing is, what I hate, what really gets to me, is when people peek in and take my info and try to act like I'm applying for a job. Then they start asking me about my education because they want me to go to school. Then they start asking me about, you know, health care. I didn't apply for health care. I applied for a job. Why are you asking me for my health care? And then, you know, keep on. This one place, they sent me about 10 emails. Finally, I answered. They said they had a job for me. I said, really? They said they lied to me. They said Amazon is hiring online. So I said, oh, really? So I decided to put in the, I started doing the application, and they kept popping up, and I kept Xing them out. And on my computer, I have pop-ups blocked, but they kept popping up, and I keep checking the pop-up blocker, but they keep popping up. And I keep Xing them out. Next thing you know, finally I started to put in all my basic credentials in there for this application. I want to see what kind of online job you talking about. So I'm putting all my information in there. And when they went to the next page, they said, oh, wow, this is processing. Then they started asking me the same things the pop-ups were asking me. And I realized this is not Amazon. This is some third party trying to use Amazon's name so that they can send me a bunch of emails for stuff that I don't need. They asked me about my education. Do I want to go back to school? They asked me about health care. They lied to me about a stimulus check, funds, grants, you know, all these different things. I'm looking for a goddamn bloody job, dude. Why are you constantly asking me stuff that's not going to make me money? You want me to answer questions about stuff where I have to invest money. No, dude, I want to make money, not invest money into something that's going to cost me. You want me to invest money in something that's going to cost me. And so these advertising companies, or these companies, are paying rather for you to advertise. Meanwhile, I'm still on hold wondering what's going on with my job application. Did anything go through? Or was that a lie? Was it all a lie? What happened to the job application I was working on? Nothing's processing. Losing your job sucks. Losing your job sucks. Losing your job here in Pittsburgh sucks. And I'm a guy that I have a whole resume of jobs. And here now I'm back, here 58 years old, I'm back to scrambling and digging. And the way I lost my job is devilish in itself. It's one of them things, you know. This is what happens when you are a slave to a system. You never know when the slave will become a dead slave, or a slave that wasn't worthy to be a slave anymore and got shot, got killed, was kicked out to run in the woods, you know. You know, and that's what bothers me. This is why right now, stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to put it in the next video. Stay tuned for the next video on this channel before I leave you and go back to my other channels tonight. I want to say this. Right now as I'm speaking, whether it happens tonight or whether it happens over the next few weeks to a year. Two of the things that I'm looking into, one of them I'm looking back into, and that is driving full time. I never drove full time for Uber and Lyft, but the other day I almost took every ounce of money I had and went and bought a car. Well, went and started financing a car from Lyft. And then I started watching all these videos, and they're telling me that what I'm seeing on the screen when I look up the website, that's not what it's going to cost me for a car. I'm going to be paying $1,000 by the end of the week. I don't know if you bluffing or you lying on Lyft and Uber or what's going on, but I don't know what you mean, because that's not what Lyft said. So before I spend any money and come back here with nothing, I figure, or come back here with whatever I spent and didn't get no car to do anything with, I figure I'm not going to do that. I'll wait off on that until I get more information, and I can't be spending money and then go out there and I'm trying to drive, you still trying to process information. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking for me. I got to get moving this week. So I decided to put that on hold. I'm also looking right now. Now, YouTube gives you more information, honest information, about working for line by working online for something like Amazon and other companies. They're giving you more honest information about this than people who find you by accident or find you from your job search and start emailing you and trying to offer you jobs when they really don't have the authority or the network basis to offer you this job. They're just a third party. Their money is to advertise. They're there to advertise. Okay? They don't tell you that, you want to work for the DoubleTree Hotel? Go to their actual website and apply. No, they're lying and saying that, the DoubleTree Hotel is offering you this position. Where is it? Okay? Did I just give you my resume? Did I just post my resume into thin air, to cyber air? Okay? Meanwhile, I'm not getting no location of any particular DoubleTree Hotel giving me a call back. I've got no phone calls or any of this. Okay? And so now I have to go do some of these resume sent outs over again, because obviously somebody got a hold of my resume that doesn't care about my resume. And last time I talked to them, they were eager to get me started on this position, but who I'm communicating is not them. Who I'm communicating with is not them. I'm communicating with an advertiser instead of someone actually offering me a position that they need somebody in there as soon as possible to fulfill. Okay? Even Craigslist. I went to Craigslist. Craigslist lets people come in there. When Craigslist first started, it was the most honest people to get jobs and information and all that from. But when it comes to jobs, I don't know about selling your own product or something like that. I think they're more legit when you're actually selling a product. But to get jobs or information on there, all these other parties come right in there. And it's like you're clicking back, you're backspacing to get to the original Craigslist that you was communicating with, because all these other parties came in there and interrupted your conversation with Craigslist, claiming that they're offering you something, and you're thinking it's Craigslist, and then you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, this don't look like it has anything to do with Craigslist. And you got your pop-up blocker on, and you're blocking all these people. You're clicking the X on the third parties. But yet, it's not your fault or Google's fault. It's the fault of the people that are offering you these jobs they're letting third parties connect with their databases, and there should be some internet security about that, and I'm hoping that it will be. But I'm going to tell you in the next video what's on my mind, and we all need to think about in these last days of getting out of the job market and going. You have to follow where the money's at. Now when it comes to service, everybody needs service. You cannot, it's a matter of you having a skill or, a skill or an ability to do certain things and get out there and do it for somebody that actually needs it, and you're not just applying for them, they're applying for you. Okay? But, there's also the whole idea of, working in a job that nobody wants, and working a job that, people don't really need you. The thing about actually working for an actual company job is if people don't need you, you'd be surprised what they... And I think what happened to me, in closing, I think what happened to me this week or last week, I think what happened to me, I wish people would go to bed at night. I think what happened to me is that we had all these issues on our team at the company, and what people have been doing is they've been getting away with murder. I call it murder. They've been getting away with, and we haven't been pushing policy, and we haven't been disciplining people. And so what they did, because they got they already got some people on standby, because we had so many people doing stuff like calling off, no show, leaving, and not doing their jobs, and doing things that are out of uniform, doing things that are out of policy. Okay? And because my name got recently mixed up in something that was my right to do. Okay? My job cannot tell me what to talk about on my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel, But somebody that got fired, knowing that he was going to get fired, decided to go and bring up my name about something. Well, hey, what I do on my Facebook channel, on my YouTube channel, is my business. Okay? And I did not mention his name. And I did not speak about where I worked at. That was one thing. And for some reason, they're so worried about that when it's no issue. It's my business versus him being nosy about my business. If he hadn't been watching my channel, it wouldn't have been an issue. You don't like me, what you watch my channel for? Why are you investigating me on YouTube and Facebook if you don't like me? We don't get along. We're not friends. But you use the job to get even with me. You use my YouTube channel to get even with me because I snitched on you at work. Okay? And just like I'm doing this video now, I mentioned that someone got even with me because I snitched on them at work. This is what they called me into the office to talk to me about. Well, you said somebody snitched on you, or you said that someone said that you snitched on them. Okay. What's I got to do with price of tea in China? I didn't mention a name. I didn't give my location. So what's the point? But that's what they did. Now I gotta admit, I did get caught on company property. While I was taking a break, and right after I got done, doing my thing on a certain level of the building. This knucklehead decided, and I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people in the company, streaming while they're working. Okay, I'm not the only one. I see people like this, walking around the building doing this, taking pictures of themselves and streaming right in front of pictures posted and everything else. But because this dude wanted to be a jack, he did this. And when he did this, they called me into the office. And then, I felt that it was okay to get up and leave. We had 3 people there last week. And I filed a complaint with my boss when I left, and I explained to him why I left, because the other people were breaking policy, breaking uniform. Okay, they weren't being fair to me. I got mad. I left early. How many people have left early for any old dumb jump, something, reason, whatever? Many, many times. This is my first time ever leaving early. And I let my boss know when I left early. If I had called him and waited for him to call me back before I left, he would have let me go. But they used that because other people are getting away with murder, and they decided to make that my problem instead of where the problem really lies. The people that are really, really, really committing this crime against the company, you should be firing them. Okay? Instead of coming to me. Because my whole point of leaving that day was so that my boss would know that there's a problem, and I'm not going to stay there and put up with it. He needs to fix it. At least with them 2 individuals, he needs to make them do their job. This was a wake-up call. I didn't leave because I was tired. I didn't leave because I was sick. I left because I was fed up, and I wanted to sound the alarm that something was wrong. And I figured that's what it would be. In other places I've worked where, I went home and the boss says, I understand why you went home. And I'm glad you went home, because if you hadn't went home, you probably would have been fighting. Y'all would have been swinging at each other. Instead of me giving these people a piece of my mind, that's how hot the temperature in that room was. Instead of me giving them a piece of my mind, I just grabbed my jacket, called Uber, and went home. While I'm outside waiting on the Uber, I called my boss and said, hey, I'm leaving. This is what happened. So they wait 3 days. They wait 2-3 days later to tell me don't come in to work. That we made a decision. And first they said I was on a suspension. Then they turned that into a termination. So I'm going to let you know what I'm thinking about in the next video. Okay? Because I'm tired of doing hour videos on all my channels. My mouth is the greatest gift I have. Maybe I need to use it for something. I don't know. I love to talk. I can go on and on and on and on. I can talk when I'm half asleep. Okay? But anyway, instead of me being more long-winded than I need to be, I talk about 2 things there. I'm thinking of something I'm going to show you. Please stay tuned to the next video. All right. I'll stop there.